If you've been following this series, you've probably noticed that I tend to snark a lot about eye drops with preservatives or brands that don't offer a preservative-free alternative. So Alicia's been like, Rebecca, you might want to explain that one of these days. Here I am, ready to explain. So, are preservatives evil? Nope, of course not. Preservatives in eye drops keep the cooties at bay. When I say cooties, I mean the bacteria that start crawling into the bottle the moment you start using it. You get a bottle of drops, you open it up, you squeeze some into your eye, the tip touches your lashes. I mean, it's gonna happen. Hey presto, there are now bacteria on the tip, and no matter how careful you are, they will migrate into that bottle. And if they find anything yummy to eat there, they will multiply. So the job of the preservative is to mercilessly hunt down and kill bacteria. Now let's think about that for a moment. Any substance badass enough to be killing bacteria might not be super friendly to the delicate tissues on the surface of your eye, especially if you're dripping that substance into your eye frequently, which is what people with ocular surface diseases, commonly called dry eye, tend to do. Now don't get me wrong, preservatives are added to eye drops in a teeny tiny concentration, and none of these preservatives in those tiny concentrations are going to harm you quickly in some dreadful way, assuming you're not violently allergic to them. However, all preservatives are not created equal. The cheapest and most commonly used eye drop preservative is a thing called benzalkonium chloride, or BAK for short, and it's been shown to be harmful to the eye or the tear film in up to 7 different ways. That science has been accumulating for decades. It is not a controversial point. Eye doctors these days do not recommend lubricant eye drops preserved with BAK. But the same eye doctors will often recommend lubricant drops with gentler preservatives. And the common rule of thumb that you'll hear kicked around out there a lot is that you can use a preserved eye drop up to 4 times a day as long as it's a gentle preservative. And if you're using drops more frequently than that, they say you should then switch to preservative-free. This common advice assumes you know how to tell your preservatives apart, or you're asking an eye doctor for advice. Newsflash, you don't and you aren't, right? So let's stop talking theory now and talk practice. For most of us, the big bottom line of preservatives is actually cost. If you're going to make an eye drop without preservatives, it has to be in either a single-use little twist-off vial like this, which is expensive to manufacture, or it's going to be in a special bottle with some kind of backflow prevention device, like this one, or like this one, or like this kind. And they're made that way so that they won't slurp bacteria every time you squeeze and let go. If preservative-free eye drops, like all of these, were cheap, most people would probably prefer them. But preservative-free eye drops are expensive to make, so they cost more, anywhere from a few bucks to as much as 10. In theory, I actually have no problem with the idea of a lubricant eye drop that has a mild preservative for periodic use, not frequent use. But I won't sell preserved eye drops at the dryeyeshop. Why not? First of all, our customer base is people with eye diseases. Their eyes, by definition, are more vulnerable. Second, we're an education center, and I'll use any and every means possible to educate people about preserved versus preservative-free, both for over-the-counter drops and prescription eye drops too. Third, I like to keep things simple. I would like both doctors and patients to know that the dryeyeshop is a preservative-free zone. They're not going to accidentally buy a preserved eye drop from us. And last, from a consumer perspective, life is complicated enough. You shouldn't have to deal with the added burden of figuring out, first of all, is the eye drop preserved? And if so, is it a good preservative or a bad preservative? If you can afford it, stick with preservative-free. That's my advice. We can help you find the most economical preservative-free eye drops, whether you buy them from us or not. And if you can't afford preservative-free eye drops at all, we're happy to help steer you to the gently preserved ones sold elsewhere. But at the end of the day, also, remember to always ask your eye doctor's advice about over-the-counter eye drops, and always tell them every drop you're using. Better yet, take them with you to your appointment or take a picture and show them.